Bengals fans, what's going on? Stone Shields on hand for another edition of Bengals Breakdown. And coming up on today's show, we are doing our second 7-round mock draft. We have one that went out in February before the NFL Combine, and this is our first one since the NFL Combine. No trades again, by the way, in this one. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do one with trades. I'm kind of hesitant because Cincinnati probably isn't going to make one, but if enough of you guys want me to do one with trades, I certainly will do that. And as we've discussed at length here on Bengals Breakdown, there's a lot of pressure on Cincinnati in this draft, especially after inking T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, the massive contracts. Got to get things right, particularly on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive line. We'll see if Duke Tobin, Zach Taylor, and company are up for the task. Before we get into this mock draft, though, hit that sub button if you haven't done so already, youtube.com/BengalsTV. Next milestone here is 18,000 subscribers. I know we can get this by the end of the month of March. So we're filming this here on March 19th, and it's going to go out a little bit beyond that. But regardless, hit that sub button. Less than 400 away from making that happen. We're here all off season long, and we've got a bunch of Bengals NFL draft content coming your guys' way. This is only the beginning. Help us out and subscribe today. All right, so let's get into these picks here from the simulator. Again, I ran these through PFF Draft Sim. Nothing crazy, all the normal, when setting up the draft, it wasn't anything crazy, just kind of the normal settings. That was the word I was looking for there. Normal settings here for this mock draft. Cam Ward going one. Surprise, right off the bat here. Armand Membou, I think the world of Armand Membou, but for Cleveland, they got all kinds of issues. I mean, you're grabbing an offensive lineman, great. Who's he going to protect? I really don't know. But Armand Membou, sensational. Don't really get the fit there with Cleveland. Travis Hunter, number 3. Ashton Jeanty, 4. Mason Graham, 5. Abdul Carter, 6. Will Campbell slides down to that number 7 spot. Jahai Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama, at number 8, a guy that we've talked at length about here on Bengals Breakdown. Tyler Warren to number 9 to the Saints. Nick Amon-Wari, number 10 to the Chicago Bears. Mike Green, 11 to the Niners. Michael Williams, 12 to the Dallas Cowboys. 4 more here before we get to Cincinnati's selection. Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. He goes to Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. Shamar Stewart, guy that has gotten linked to the Cincinnati Bengals a lot, 14 to the Colts. Donovan Ezeraku, edge rusher out of Boston College, going 15 to the Falcons. And Jedi Barron going 16 to the Arizona Cardinals. That leads us to the Cincinnati Bengals in the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Who am I going with? Jaylen Walker is who I'm going with. Shoot, if he falls to number 17, I am all over that. The Bengals, of course, need another pass rusher, and I think he would fit in perfectly with this defense. He can do so many different things out on the football field. He isn't certainly a one-trick pony by any stretch of the imagination. You can line him up in different spots. He's an outside linebacker. You could line him up there next to Logan Wilson. He could do some good things for you in coverage. He can rush the quarterback, as we've discussed. He is a freakish athlete, and he really was outstanding for Georgia in his time there, 3 years under Kirby Smart. I think the world of Kirby Smart. I think a lot of people in the comments are banging on me for liking Georgia guys too much, but these guys know how to play winning football, and these guys translate to the NFL. Just look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaylen Walker would be a steal and a half at number 17 overall for the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people have him getting mocked inside the top 10, and I caught a break here in this PFF draft, and he happened to slide down to that number 17 overall selection. I think if he's there, you certainly take him, and it's really not much of a question. Maybe if Armand Membou is there as well, then that's kind of a debate between those two. But I really like Jaylen Walker and would be thrilled to absolutely have him as a Cincinnati Bengal. All right, other guys on the board here at that pick. Now, that first guy is going to pop out to a lot of people, pops out to myself a lot. I love Malaki Starks, but if Jaylen Walker is there, his fellow Georgia Bulldog, I don't know if you can take Malaki Starks. Now, if Walker's off the board, Malaki Starks is probably my top guy. Love Malaki Starks, but Jaylen Walker a little bit more, and the position of need certainly factors into that as well. James Pearce Jr., another guy we've talked about, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, Tyler Booker, all guys that are elite football players that would be available in this draft that I passed up on for Jaylen Walker. Pin comment time on today's show. Would you draft Jaylen Walker at number 17 overall? Let me know in the comments section. Type Y for yes or N for no. And if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. You can ignore it, take advantage of it, get down in the comments, let us know what you think. Moving on here to round 2. Not going to go through all the picks, obviously, in round 2, but we will do some recent picks here. Got Donovan Jackson, 43 to the Niners. We got Princely U, we'll call him, 44 to the Dallas Cowboys. Linebacker out of UCLA, Carson Schlesinger. To the Indianapolis Colts, Javon Ravel, 46 out of East Carolina to the Falcons. Xavier Watts, I think a lot of people were hoping the Bengals could get him in the second round. He goes a couple of picks too early in this mock, out of Notre Dame, of course, Al Golden Ties. Trey Amos, bit of a surprise there, 48 overall, cornerback out of Ole Miss. Round 2, pick 49. Who am I going with? Well, Cincinnati needs an interior offensive lineman. And hopefully, by the time this video is out, the Bengals will have already signed Brandon Scherf, but I don't necessarily have high hopes for that happening. I'm going with Jonah Savaiinaea here, offensive lineman out of Arizona. Now, by the way, this is a guy that played tackle in college, but he's going to play guard in the NFL, and that, of course, is what the Bengals need. Bengals need to allocate a top pick to their offensive line. They absolutely have to. You're not feeling great if you have to roll out a guy like Jonah Savaiinaea immediately. In the NFL season, you would like to have, a veteran that comes in, 1-year deal, he starts, and then maybe halfway through the season, a guy like Savaiinaea can take over for him. But he's a guy that's played a lot of football at Arizona from Hawaii. He's a very durable guy, and he's good in pass pro. There's definitely some concerns with him in the run game, and he kind of lacks some of that athletic juice, you could say. But I think Savaiinaea can do a nice job of pass blocking. He's great in those kind of combined situations when he was at a tackle, so I don't think switching over to guard is going to be much of an issue for him. PFF, by the way, did not like this pick for me. Actually graded it at an F, if you can believe that, but I actually think Savaiinaea has a lot of upside, and I think he could fit in well. It just comes down to whether or not Scott Peters can develop him to the point where he can go out there and be a starter for you at that offensive line spot. Other guys that were available there in the second round for Cincinnati, JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State. I know some people potentially are excited about him. Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. Benjamin Morrison, I thought long and hard about taking him. Obviously, Al Golden Ties there. Cameron Williams, guy that kind of was surprised to see on the board still. And Marcus Bowe out of Purdue also, guys. But I went with Jonah Savaiinaea there in the second round. We'll continue with our mock draft here in a minute, but first, a shout-out to our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. They also have the Flex Play. This is our season-long Flex Play here at PrizePicks that we threw together at Chat Sports. Jack Lauderay, our baseball guy, threw this one together, going with the more than for Paul Skeens on his strikeouts, as well as Tarek Skubal as well with his strikeouts, and the more than on Jarren Duran's home runs. Baseball season right around the corner. I'm pretty fired up about it. Make sure you guys check out the Flex Play. Also some season-long opportunities there with the Flex Play as well. The best place to cash in on all your favorite sports. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the NBA's best fight for playoff positioning right now as we kind of get towards a playoff push in the NBA as well. So download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, we'll go a little bit quicker here throughout the remainder of the draft. This is what we're looking like here. Recent picks in round 3. Benjamin Morrison just went off the board to the Dallas Cowboys. And you can see some other guys along that list there as well. Won't read them all off, but I'm going with, again, round 3, Lathan Ransom. Now, I told myself, if you watched our mock draft that came out in February, I said I wasn't going to do any repeat picks. But then Lathan Ransom was just staring me back in the face once again in that round 3 spot. And I couldn't pass up on him because I really think Cincinnati needs to add a safety in this draft, preferably in the first 3 rounds. Lathan Ransom's a guy that's played a ton of football for Ohio State, plays at a high level. He's played in big games, and he hits people hard. That is my favorite part about his game. Is he fine in coverage? Yeah, sure, but he will absolutely lay the wood on somebody, and I think that's going to translate really well into the NFL. I think he can be a really good NFL player, to be completely honest with you. Is he going to be a star? No, but I think he could be a really solid player, and that's what Cincinnati is looking for at that safety spot, because they really haven't gotten good play from their safeties since Jesse Bates walked out the door several years ago. Would you draft Lathan Ransom in round 3? Let me know in the comments. Type A for yes or B for no. I really like this one here. Round 4, Tyler Batty, edge out of BYU. He's got a relentless motor, and he's got 3-down potential. Now, you may not have heard of Tyler Batty, but he can really get after the passer, and he can really develop into a guy that is out there for, not just being a 3rd-down specialist. He can do a lot of good things out there. He's incredible off the field as well. He's a great leader in their community, played a lot of football for BYU. Was there all 4 years and really just continually got better year after year. He kind of reminds me of George Karlaftis a little bit. I know that's crazy because Karlaftis is such a good player. Not many people were talking about Tyler Batty, but if you pair him up with Trey Hendrickson, I think you could be brewing something special if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, you need to get better at this spot. You got Joseph Osai, who's back on a 1-year deal. Cam Sample, I'm excited about the fact that he is back on a 1-year deal for Cincinnati, but you got to be able to put somebody out there next to Trey Hendrickson. And shoot, if you lose Trey Hendrickson, you're obviously in a world of trouble when it comes to that pass rusher spot. Round 5, going with another offensive lineman here, Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota. He's not the best athlete, and he's got a lot of work to do when it comes to his run blocking, but his pass blocking is there. And obviously Cincinnati, fresh off these deals for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they're going to be throwing that ball around the yard a lot, and if you are a guy that can go in there and play really well in a pass blocking situation, that obviously would benefit the Cincinnati Bengals. Tyler Cooper's massive, and he's got really long arms. I'm not one of those guys that fully dives into, all the traits or whatever, but the fact that he's got super long arms, that can make up for some of the lack of athleticism that he has. And I think, he's probably going to go a little bit earlier than some people think because of those traits, and I think it could be very beneficial for Cincinnati. Obviously, you need to find a guard. If you're picking at this point in the draft, you're not confident that you can go out there and start a guy like this immediately. But, look, you can't run it back with Cody Ford and Cordell Volson. If you don't get someone in free agency, you're going to have to pick at least one, probably multiple in the draft. But hopefully it's only a matter of time before Cincinnati signs somebody at that guard spot. Last pick here, Cincinnati, of course, doesn't have a 7th-round pick at this time because of the Khalil Herbert trade at the deadline last season. Howard Cross III had to throw a Notre Dame guy here into this mock. I feel like it would just kind of be silly not to, right? Al Golden's coming in. He's coached these guys for a long time. I think it could really benefit your defense, especially at the end of the draft, where Golden knows how to, get the best out of some of these guys. Going with Howard Cross III. He's very undersized when you're talking about a defensive tackle, but he was Notre Dame's. He was named their defensive lineman of the year and continually got better during his time at Notre Dame. He was there for 6 seasons, played a lot of football, didn't play a ton his first couple of years, but just kept going at it, kept working. His dad, of course, was a tight end in the NFL, really good tight end, and I think you could perhaps consider him a steal if you got him in the 6th round. And, again, he's undersized, but he is a relentless guy. He's got a motor as well. And he's probably more of just kind of you throw him in there on 3rd down, let him get after the passer kind of situation. I don't think at this point he's going to really be able to do much from a run game perspective for you. And he's definitely going to be a rotational piece. But I think he could offer some pressure from the middle. And Cincinnati didn't get any pressure at all from the interior of their defensive line and seemingly haven't in quite some time. Little recap here. This is what we got. Jaylen Walker in the 1st round. Obviously, that is the pick I'm most fired up about out of the 6 that I made. If he can fall to 17, I think that is a great thing for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jonah Savaiinaea, lineman out of Arizona. Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State. Tyler Batty, another edge guy out of BYU, who I'm really excited about. Tyler Cooper, another interior offensive lineman out of Minnesota. And then Howard Cross III rounding out my Bengals mock draft in the 6th round. Let me know. Get your grades for me in the comments section of today's show. Grade this Bengals mock draft A, B, C, D, or F in the comments right now.